Hey everybody. So I've been thinking about all the disagreement amongst the TI in this debate over uh, name calling and labeling others as perps. You know, when I first started making my videos, I don't remember finding articles or videos of TIs calling others perps. It it seems like all of a sudden there's this huge movement of labeling TIs as perps or labeling another TI with a different perspective on this gangstalking or a completely opposing point of view being labeled as perps. And it's taking away the objective of figuring what's going on or the objective of helping your own self overcome gangstalking. Because the way I see it, when one TI is labeling another TI as a perp, the accuser is being manipulated by the gang stalkers through lower voice to skull. I don't know if you remember one of my video I talked about how it's more likely when you go out in public, it's more likely that two TIs will go against each other out in public. Meaning you might look in one direction and see somebody else looking at you. Well, the other person could also be a TI just like you. And just to be fair and philosophical, there's no way of knowing unless talking to the other person, correct? And there's no way of knowing that other person is a TI or not. Same goes for there's no way of knowing if the other person is a gang stalker. And so far, it seems like all the TIs that are labeling other TIs as perps are going off of their own feeling, going off their own uh, sensation. The lower voice to skull is telling that TI or making the TI feel like, okay, I am correct. I have this, my intuition is telling me I'm correct. I know that person is a gang stalker. But if you use common sense and logic, there is no way for the TI to confirm if that person is a gang stalker. But yet the TI will act out and continue believing that person's a gang stalker. But logically, common sense dictate, just to be fair, there's not enough evidence to make that conclusive decision. And that's the bottom line. And that's the bottom line when it comes to any TI who wants to take legal action. I mean, I was on Facebook and people would post, talk about, oh, getting lawsuit together, all this stuff. See, that's where the disconnect comes in. Because how can there be a lawsuit if you don't first have absolute evidence that can prove beyond a reasonable doubt? And that is the problem with these ideas of taking legal action. Now, don't get me wrong. If anyone out there can find legal action or find evidence that's strong enough and have a lawyer that's not a scam, that's just taking your money and it's really gonna, tell you their game plan and how they're gonna win this battle. If you can go about it and win this case, by all means, go do that because you will need to do that to satisfy your own mind. Otherwise, you're kind of just stuck wondering if it's possible or not. So if you're gonna have that stuck in your mind, you need to go do it. And there are no cases out there that are relating to gang stalking and where the TI, the plaintiff, actually come out on top. There are no solid evidence. And what there is are each individual TI's personal experience. And these experiences are very similar. Yes, we go through different uh, situations in our lives, and our experience is different slightly here and there because of our background or financial situation, or if we have family or not, what kind of job we have. Everything involved in our life, it matters when it comes to our gang stalking experience. But overall, the framework of it's similar. You know, for me, I'm just like majority of TI. I start out believing it's, neighbors, government, secret program, all that stuff. I went through that already. But the difference is the time frame that I went through, that was a lot shorter than the majority of TIs out there. See, the only difference here is it's the situation are similar, the experience are similar, but what's different is each individual time frame. How long does it take how long does it take you to go through uh, these experience? Might take another TI 30 years, or might take another TI 2 months, or might take another TI 5 to 10 years. So the time frame of these experiences are different amongst the TI community, but the actual experience, the scenarios that happen, the framework, like the outline, it's similar. The only thing that's not the same are the time frame. And for me, when it comes to the whole government thing and the spies and all that police, secret agency, I mean, whatever you want to name, CIA, military, police, anything you want, okay? Men in Black, okay? FBI, DEA, the elites of the elites. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And if one of you out there, I think it would be fascinating for someone out there to actually grab a pen and paper and start writing down all the possible agency. Whenever this TI would do research and stumble upon other people's articles, other people's sharing their experience, and you will see this list is just extensive. Now, to me, it just means no one really knows what's going on. Because if there's real evidence, if everything's so certain, then it shouldn't be this difficult to know who's behind gang stalking. And for me, I was able to move beyond their government phase, believing it's government, secret service, secret agency, shadow agency, military, all those things. I moved beyond that literally within a span of about 6 months, 6 months to 1 year. That was the same time frame where I was going through the paranormal and the supernatural, where I just wasn't really sure, but they were happening. But I was still thinking it could be government. So that was during that time frame as well, where I can't decide exactly what's what. But a lot of the supernatural events were happening on a daily basis. And what really helped me was something I went through literally almost 2 decades before. Because I don't know if you guys watch this video, video number 10. Well, this video, I talked about an ex-roommate of mine. This ex-roommate was going through gang stalking as I was living there in the house. So at the time when I was experiencing from an from an outside perspective, because I didn't know I was a targeted individual. From an outside perspective, I thought my ex-roommate was kind of crazy because of all the things he was talking about was crazy. And now that I am a targeted individual, back when I was going through it in the beginning, there were similarities in what I was going through and kind of trigger, maybe reminds me, wait a minute, my ex-roommate went through this. And eventually I come to realization it was just so similar that so I now know what my ex-roommate was going through. And now I know what he went through are real because gangstalking is real. And he just went about it differently. And obviously he most likely did not experience anything like it prior to his own targeting. Now, as for me, I experienced what he went through because I was there on the other side, basically trying to convince him nothing bad's happening, nothing's going on. And now, since I'm being targeted, now I can see it from his perspective. So I got both perspective of this gang stalking phenomenon. And since I know I'm not crazy, so now I know my ex roommate wasn't crazy. It's just nobody knew what was going on. And that allowed me to kind of eliminate the whole government thing because many things happened during this period of where I was getting targeted. And thinking back on it, I don't see how it could be the government because my ex roommate was just a real estate agent. He was just a regular person. He was a very nice person. I don't see why he would get targeted and all of a sudden I get targeted. And since he went through it and I thought he was kind of crazy, and now I'm going through it and I know I'm not crazy. So what is gang stalking? Gang stalking is real, but what is it? And just by knowing this, it was able to help elevate me to really starting to believe what I'm seeing, especially in my CCTV when I saw the ghosts. Starting to believe what I saw is most likely real, and that's what really triggered my mind to start accepting the supernatural. Because something about the supernatural realm, it just it blocks our brain. Our brain just needs a period of exposure to really let the information sink into our minds. Because let's, for example, I'm sure a lot of you have your own story of supernatural or paranormal, either when you're younger or whenever. I mean, not a lot of stories, but one or two stories of the supernatural. And when you watch those ghost hunting documentaries, they show you footage, and your mind's probably not really believing it, but then you're not doubting it. It's because our mind is not at the level of exposure to really believe that's true because what you see, like seeing is believing. So if you don't see it every day, it's hard for your mind to believe it. But if you hear it through voice to skull, that helps. That helps. But you would be stuck believing it's most likely government because it's logical. And since these spirits want you to believe it's not spirits, it's for their own protection. They don't want people to know that they are spirits. So it's keeping you trapped into this believing it's the government. But what's different for me was I actually saw it with my own eyes. See, I was able to see it. And since I was hearing them through voice to skull, that's what really helped elevate my mind after a year and a half to finally one day just convince my just the light bulb just turned on. These are spirits. And I will play this video for you of what I went through. This is what happened with my ex-roommate. This is how I was able to experience this almost 2 decades ago. And now I can handle the gang stalking a lot better than majority of the TI because I went through it from the other side, from the other perspective. So I'm going to play this for you guys. Yeah, he moved away. And now fast forward to now. A few years ago, that's when I realized, oh, I'm a targeted individual. In the beginning, I forgot about what happened to my ex-roommate. And eventually, a few months into it, I started to think, wait a minute, what's going on with me? It's almost exactly the same as what went on with my ex-roommate. And at the time, I just thought he was crazy, like, well, that's kind of crazy. I don't hear anything, and what's going on? And the situation was so similar. I know that's why I know I'm not crazy, because what I'm going through, it's something's happening, but I'm not crazy. So what is it? Now notice this very important piece of information. Thank God I got to experience what happened to my roommate. That gave me a heads up. That literally gave me an advantage over 99% of the other targeted individuals. I was able to directly firsthand experience something like this 2 decades, almost 2 decades ago. Think about it. How important is that piece of information to be able to experience it myself and also indirectly experience it with my ex-roommate? And that's what really helped me move past this whole gang stalking phenomenon and use my resources and energy on other investigation and other experiments to find out exactly what these guys are. If you watch my video, okay. Now, this part right here is very important. I need you guys to know. Another reason I know it's not the government is because my ex-roommate was actually believing that, because I live in a home with 12 other roommates. Okay, it was a big house. Going to college was a big house. The house was filled. Every room was filled. And this ex-roommate actually believed this another roommate of mine was spying on him. Okay, another roommate was spying on him, talking trash about him, and also he believed that the room next to his, the roommate living in the room next to his, got a little hole in the wall and was peeping through it, spying on him. And also he believed the roommate upstairs on my floor, this female, was a prostitute and she was being pimped out by the landlord. Now, this is one very important information that I left out in this video, because during this time in this video, I was literally, my mind was being attacked. All my videos, I was getting attacked. I don't know if you noticed some videos I'm able to kind of talk better than others, but I get attacked in all my videos. And during the when I was filming this video, that is one of the things I wanted to mention, but then towards the end, I wasn't able to because they were blocking my mind from remembering it. But I did explain what he was going through, and what I didn't include in this video was because my ex roommate that was going through the gang stalking believed it was it was the roommates in the house that was going against him, that was spying on him, which was not true, because I was standing on the opposite point of view. I was the opposing point of view. Just by knowing that and how his mind was thinking all these things helped me, because it helped me in a way that helped me put up a shield, a defense against those type of thoughts. oh, thinking it's my neighbors, thinking, oh, it's the people in Walmart, thinking, oh, it's the car next to me. So you see what I'm saying? Because my roommate was thinking it was us, and it wasn't us. I was able to not also believe easily that, oh, it's just anyone out in public. Does that make any sense? And that's why in this video I titled it "How I Got the Advantage." But then I towards the end I did not explain this main reason. And I want you guys to know that now I'm going to explain what happened on the day that there was a divine intervention for him. One day, I was playing video games with one of my other roommate, and he was in his room. Out of nowhere, he just rushed out with a baseball bat, and he was staring at the roommate next to me, screaming at him, saying something like, "Oh, what? Why are you talking about me? Why are you talking about me? Why are you always spying on me?" His eyes just looked like he's ready to use that baseball bat on him. And we're both like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're like, whoa, calm down. What's going on here? We're both shocked because we had no idea what was happening. He just rushed out of there with a baseball bat. And his eyes were just so much anger. And he kept screaming at my roommate. And then we're just like, no, calm down. No one is spying on you. No, he's not spying on you. I was trying to play the mediator because he was just looking at my other roommate sitting next to me. And this went on for about 10 minutes. And then he was kind of calming down, kind of like had this look like he's starting to realize, whoa, what just happened? Like he just kind of like crossed the line, And that's when another roommate came home. And obviously, like all the commotion, so he joined in on the conversation. And the next thing you know, more roommates came home from work. So all of a sudden, 20 minutes later from when he first rushed out, there was like 8 or 9 roommates standing right there, trying to figure out what's going on. It was like a huge intervention. And then he started breaking down saying, oh, the roommates next to his room were spying on him because there's like a little hole in the wall and they would peep through this little hole and just look into his room all the time. And now the landlord's back because the landlord lived on the very top floor. And he was saying, no, why would anyone do that? Because we all just standing there listening to him, and we knew he's kind of losing it. He's crazy right now. He's just losing everything, losing his shit. And so the roommate went upstairs and grabbed the spare key and opened up the room next to his, and went inside and show him the wall and be like, what hole? There's no holes in the wall. And then later on he said, oh, there's a little section on the floor where it could be lifted up and the roommate living below him could access his room while he's gone. So we went over to the area and looked at the floor, and the floor was just normal floor. There was no secret puzzle. You can kind of move around the pieces, and all of a sudden, boom, this little door like unhatches, and then you can just kind of like climb up. It's nothing like that. It was just a normal floor. And then he was saying, the roommate, I was on my floor. There was 3 girls, and one of the girl on my floor, he was saying, was being pimped out by the landlord, and the customer would sneak in by going up the fire escape from the backyard, climb up 2 stories, and then crawling through the window. And by this point we were just all looking at each other like, wow, this guy is really just went crazy right now. And the whole time it was like all of us against him, but it was just extremely crazy. And looking into his eyes at the time, he truly believed all those things were happening. And he even believed everyone in the house was just lying to him. So he was believing that the females in the house were all prostitutes and they're being pimped out by the landlord. And he believed other roommates were talking trash about him. And one time he even showed me a video because him and I were kind of cool. We party a lot, so he had nothing bad to say about me. But obviously, I don't know what he thinks or what he really do believe when it comes to me. Ever since that point, I was just scared to hang out with him because I feel like, whoa, I was having thoughts like, what if this guy just like stabbed me or something, you know? Obviously, a negative thought. But at the time, I was just only in college. I didn't know much about this stuff. And he showed me a video one time. And it was him talking to my other roommate. And then they were talking for about 15 minutes. And then my other roommate noticed there was a camcorder on the desk. So he looked directly at the camera and said, "Is that a camera?" And it turns out it was a camera and it was turned on, filming him the whole time. So he showed me this video and I watched it. And then the key takeaway from that was, once the other roommate realized the camera was on, he walked out of the room about 5 minutes afterwards, you know, just kind of like casually, okay, well, you know, done talking, he just went back to his room. And that's where he asked me to listen carefully. And I was like, okay, I don't hear anything. And he said, "How can you not hear that? They're talking shit about me." I was like, "What? I don't hear anything." So he made me put on his headphones. So I put on his headphones and I couldn't hear anything. And he had this smile like, "You gotta be joking me, right? They're talking trash. They're talking shit about me. They're talking about me right now in the video." So he put on the headphones and he's like, "Oh, I can hear it. Come on, you gotta hear it." I was like, "No, I can't hear shit." And about a week after that, that's when he announced the news. Oh, he'll be moving out because after an incident like that, even the landlord realized he has to move out, and everyone agreed. So he moved out of there a month, maybe a month after that, after the incident. And about a week after that, after he moved out, he called me and he asked if one of the roommate that lives upstairs was home. And I was like, okay, let me go check. So I went upstairs and checked, and yeah, that roommate was there watching TV. And I was like, oh yeah, he's here. And he didn't believe me. He was like, "Are you sure? Because I swear the car behind me, I swear he's behind me right now, following me in this van, in a red color van." And I was like, "No, that can't be him because he's upstairs." And he kept saying, he didn't believe me. He just kept asking the same question in a different way, but basically doubting my answer. He's doubting that he's upstairs, and he really do believe this roommate upstairs was following him literally like 50 miles away. And eventually he got off the phone, and yeah, he moved away. Okay. Now I did not recognize the connection because in this video I actually talked about a red van, and that is something that's I just caught on because I know there's this red color movement with cars. So that is interesting to me because it shows there's a connection. It's shows that it's that same type of tactic is being used. It's been the same tactics, and this was about almost 2 decades ago. So the same tactics are still being used, and this tactic does not work on all TIs, but it does work on, from what I can tell, a good amount of TIs out there. I'm not one of those TIs that went through this red color uh, uh, gangstalking, and I know there are many other TIs out there who are in the same position as me. So these type of similarities, but the tactics, the framework are about the same. And since I was never bothered by these red color, it's to me it's just one less thing for me to worry about. Because if you're a TI and you actually do care about the color, that's one extra thing you are need to worry about because it's bothering you. And somehow you're gonna need to figure it out to let it go because, well, maybe time will tell. Maybe over a period of time you might just eventually realize you don't care no more about that color. You're not gonna let it bother you because it's you have the power, your own will and your mind to let these different negativity into your mind. If you want to let the color that's negative, which is color red, it means gang stalking to you, into your mind, well then over time you're gonna start developing this fear of the color, and you're gonna really easily convince yourself they're gang stalkers. Well, you're not convincing yourself. The gang stalkers are using lower voice to skull, and it's easy for them to convince you that they're a gang stalker whenever you see a red car or red color. So to me, that is just an extra thing on your plate that you need to get rid of. Now, with that being said, to get rid of that fear of the color red, or anything deal with a certain color, it might take you a year to get rid of those negative thoughts. To some other TI, it might take them 2 months. It might take them 1 month. It might take them a week after watching this video, or it might take them 30 years, or it might just be with them all the way till the end. Notice how the time frames are different for each TI. So it's really up to you and how you want to think and how you want to live your life moving forward. Because if you have that as one of your problems, then you should try to get rid of it as soon as you can. And how do you do that? I mean, you are the master of your own mind, and you really need to figure it out because otherwise, it's just going to be with you, and it's not going to be something that's going to keep you happy. And that is only one example. Imagine having a bunch more of other problems that's on your plate, and you need to get rid of all of them. That's why I always preach the no fear mentality, because if you have no fear mentality, you can throw that whole plate of problems away. It's that simple. So if you can switch that on when you go out in public and you don't let any of those bother you, and the gang stalker will send you these thoughts of it. See, the gang stalker will always send you thoughts and remind you right away. As soon as you can recognize that, oh, all of a sudden you're thinking about something. Let's say you like the basketball, you like NBA. And you think about NBA, or football, and all of a sudden you see a red car and boom, your thoughts change. Well, you didn't change the thought. It's the lower voices to skull from the gang stalker are pointing you to those thoughts, which are negative, and completely changes your pattern from NBA or NFL to gang stalking and red cars. So the sooner you can get rid of that, the faster you can stay happy and continue thinking about your NBA or NFL. And when you see red cars, it's not even going to do anything to you because you won't even think about it. You won't even care to think about it. And for those TIs out there, if you're actually driving, you see a red car and you can hear some harassment coming from that direction, that's why I always teach you guys, use voice to skull to talk trash back. You hear them yell out loud, like in the car. You don't have to scream out, like talking trash. You just use your mind. Whatever they say to you, you can hear, you use your mind to talk trash right back to it, and they can pick it up. See, they have a receiver of your own thought. So you can talk, like I've been teaching you guys, using voice to skull, you can talk, and they can pick it up. They have a receiver to pick it up. Like right now, as I'm teaching you guys, I could be actually gotten to the point where I'm just saying F you in my back of my mind. Right? You guys don't know I'm doing that. But I'll tell you, the gang stalkers, they can definitely pick it up. And that's what I mean. If you hear them talking trash, out in public, you don't have to scream at them. You don't have to do anything. Just you can talk trash back using your own mind because they have a receiver to pick it up. It's that easy. It's something I've been teaching. I've been on course. I think one thing about me and my channel is I stay on course. If you follow me from beginning till now, you know I tell you what I'm gonna do, and then I'll do it. And then I've been staying on course. I don't jump ships. I don't go back and forth with oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. Oh, it's them, it's these people. I haven't done that. I've been on course. I told you I was gonna let you know who the gangstalkers are, and I did. And now my only task left is to show you guys how to identify them. And that's going to be the last video. And once I'm done, I'm gonna feel great about myself because I know I helped a lot of TIs out there. And for the ones that are doubting me, it's your opinion. But if you truly want to get out of gang stalking, you know where to go. And I hope one day you will find your way back. That's it for now. Shoot home. Signing out.